Hi there, Ian Spicer here. Hope you're really well. I wanted to make a video about the Advanced Integration Workshop. This is a 4-day workshop that you can attend once you've completed the PSYCH-K Basic Workshop, which is all about the basics. You're learning the foundation information, the model through which we explain the PSYCH-K processes for change. You're learning the muscle testing, which is the medium through which we're able to communicate with our subconscious mind. 2 balance processes to deliver new goals and to remove stress, new direction resolution, and the back to the future that allows us to manifest our goals at a completely different level, the manifestation generator. And so, but you're typically learning, or you're creating one new belief at a time or removing one stressful situation. And we spend most of our time at the basic learning the basics. We don't do a lot of personal change work on the basic workshop. Advanced Integration Workshop is very, very different. All we're doing is personal change work for 4 days. From the minute you get in, we're learning, we're facilitating, and we're experiencing big wholesale balance processes and for specific areas of our life. And everybody reports that at the end, you come out a completely new and improved version of yourself. You really take a huge leap forward, not only in your experience of life, but in your mastery of the subconscious mind as well. So if that sounds interesting, this is something you definitely need to check out. It is what most people say, the workshop that you have the huge epiphany. This is what PSYCH-K really is all about, and they see how powerful it is, really and truly, when they do the advanced workshop. So if you're still looking to create changes in your life and improve your experience, this is definitely something, if you can take the 4 days out of life to come and do it, is something would definitely recommend, being tried and tested with tens of thousands of people all around the world. So there are a number of things we learn at the advanced workshop. The first balance that we learn is called Rapport. Now, Rapport is the foundation of all effective communication. This is for anyone where communication is important, whether it's work communication, whether it's communication with your family, loved ones. This is going to take your ability to create rapport with other people, and creating rapport is our responsibility, to a completely new level, and give you a completely new level of ease and comfort around communication. In 2 areas, there's 2 parts of this balance. The first one is language preference. So as it turns out, subconsciously, we all have a preference without the language that we use. Some of us like to use visual orientated words, some like to use auditory orientated words, some kinesthetic. So see you later would be a visual person's way of communicating. Talk to you soon would be a auditory, and catch you later would be kinesthetic. But this is something most of us don't even realize, that in life, when we're communicating, we're whole brain in one of those modalities. But whenever anyone is communicating, whether we're listening to or we're talking it ourselves in the other modalities, we are in stress and we're not whole brained just because of the language. And this is a balance, the first part of Rapport, to bring us into whole brain state with all of these modalities. And have you ever read a book when, some books you read, you feel very comfortable and they're easy to read. Other books just are a struggle. It would be because the language that's being used is not your modality. And this is a way to come into whole brain state with all of these. Second part of Rapport is about non-verbal rapport. Like 90% of communication we do non-verbally. And so this is a way for us to become whole-brained and take our ability to create non-verbal rapport with people, loved ones, work colleagues, naturally, easily and effortlessly, as simply and as quickly as possible, without thinking about it. The whole idea of this is that it's just automatic. We're going to test speaking to someone and kind of creating and being in rapport with someone to see if we're whole-brained non-verbally in that area. We're going to test somebody being in rapport with us, see if we're whole-brained around that. We're going to test breaking rapport with someone and somebody breaking rapport with us. And quite often we're not whole-brained in those areas, and everyone's different, but we're going to be able to become whole-brained in all of those areas, and it's quite remarkable people's experience afterwards. So rapport's the first thing that we learn. Second thing we're going to learn is called belief points with energy focusing. So this is a balance process. It's like a new direction or a resolution. So it enables us to be able to balance a new belief. It also enables us to remove stress. And we're also going to be talking about and teaching how to balance not just a goal statement, but an intention which hasn't got words. And we can do that with the belief points with energy focusing, how to use the superconscious to create intentions that might be powerful for us, even though we may not know consciously what they are. This is another really wonderful thing we learn in this part. Belief points with energy focusing, there's two parts. Belief points are particular points on the body, a little bit like the acupuncture points, but we only have 12, and each point is a physical location and has emotional output by way of two belief point statements, a self-affirming and self-limiting. And so we're able to use these belief points to very quickly find beliefs that we need to balance, or to get information about goals that we're working with. So it enables our subconscious to speak in more ways than just strong or weak. And the way that we balance the belief points is using something called energy focusing. Now, energy focusing is where we're able to really create powerful, focused energy through our fingertips, like laser beams. Just like light can be focused into lasers, we can focus energy like laser beams through our fingers. And you may see the energy, you may feel it, or you may not. But the evidence is going to be that when you use energy focusing, the points are going to switch back, and you're going to be balancing the points. And it's a really cool thing to see. You can use energy focusing by itself as a standalone process as well to focus energy into parts of your body that may need help, where energy is low or there may be injury. And you can also use it to balance the chakra points if you wish as well. So that's also pretty cool. So belief points, energy focusing. Second thing we learn. Third thing that we learn is something called surrogation. Now this is a sacred ritual. It can only be done with multiple permission protocols. And it's very safe, but it really just expands our ability to and influence with PSYCH-K so significantly. It gives us the ability to work with somebody who is not at our physical location. So to be able to work with someone at a distance, yeah, whether they're whether it's a relative that might be on the other side of the world that you'd like to work with, you can then use somebody else that's with you or yourself as a surrogate to do the muscle testing, etc., on their behalf, and they will still receive exactly the same benefit as if you were working directly with them. You can also use this to work with children who are too young to do the PSYCH-K balances, even if they're in utero. Wonderful thing to be able to do. Or animals, sentient beings also, and being able to assist the animal kingdom in ways with PSYCH-K is also an incredible gift that we're able to give. And we can also work with groups of people with surrogation. So not just surrogate an individual, but also surrogate a group of individuals. So that's very exciting as well. So after surrogation, we learn something called the core belief balance. This is the big daddy or the big mama, the big daddy mama of the PSYCH-K advanced integration. This is what a lot of the PSYCH-K instructors call 3 years of therapy in one balance process. This is done lying down on your back, typically on massage tables, and there are 13 core beliefs that we check. Now, the core beliefs, each of these is instrumental, ubiquitous, broad-reaching in every area of our life. Like they're significant, far-reaching beliefs that affect all areas of our life, in areas like self-esteem, spirituality, things like that. And this is for somebody who is wanting broad foundational change very quickly. Okay, so just to come and experience this is an absolute treat. So we use the belief points with energy focusing, which we've previously learnt to go and balance all of the core beliefs. Then we have this wonderful process where we invite our higher self to assist to make sure that we're able to externally represent and internally represent these beliefs in the most powerful way possible. And then there's an integration activity component as well to further integrate the balance process that we've just done. So it is comprehensive and wonderful to learn and have, but wonderful to experience. So in doing that with a group of people in a workshop setting where you have the collective energy is pretty powerful. So after we do core belief, we learn relationship balance. So the relationship balance is done standing up with pairs, two people. So there are all sorts of relationships in life, and we're not always whole-brained in those relationships. This is an opportunity for us to become whole-brained in our relationships. So whenever we see, hear, or feel the presence of the other person, we have no stress. And whether that's your current partner, an ex-partner, because it's not just about relationships coming together, it can also be about relationships moving apart or have already moved apart, where you still have baggage or buttons installed from that relationship, which are all in the subconscious. We're able to uninstall all of them. And now we've got the segregation technique or the ritual. It could be you and someone in the workshop stepping in for your mum or your dad or your ex-husband or your ex-wife. And you can do the relationship balance, and both of you will have this beautiful benefit from this that will create an ongoing whole brain state for both of you and really help the relationship, whether you're leaving the relationship or bringing together. So it's we often just think of romantic relationships, but there's so many more: relationships with our kids, relationships with our work, relationships with the opposite sex, relationships with the planet. And we can use this relationship balance, which again has the belief points with energy focusing nested in, so we can find the gifts and growth opportunities that we have to offer each other. But it's just a remarkable balance to have in your toolkit. And once you do these, the other thing is you got them forever. You're never going to not have them. And so it's just this ability and this really amazing power that you're going to be able to assist other people in making these incredible changes moving forward. Anyway, lastly, we do the life bonding balance, which is all about resolving all trauma from birth and around your birth experience and early life and pre-birth experience and fear of death. Powerful areas of life, death and birth. And it's like a stress transformation right along our timeline. So we start with conception all the way through to birth, resolve anything that comes up there. And remember, we're setting the intention to bring up whatever needs to come up. So it's normally very internal. There's not a lot of processing outward with this. It's very personal, but we get a lot done. And then we go from birth to the current moment in life, to our imagined death experience. And then we go through our death experience. It's imagined, right? And into an after-death consciousness, also imagined. But anything that comes up in the way of stress or trauma around any of this, we're able to, using breathing with this balance, because we're using a completely different way to create the whole brain state with the life bonding balance, and we're doing it lying down. Using breathing, we're able to just resolve and send all of that stress out of our system, remove it, discard it, so it's just not there anymore. You can't experience stress unless it's there. You can't experience anger unless it's in your system. You can't experience fear unless it's in your system. You can't experience sense of loss unless it's in your system. And this is about getting rid of a huge chunk of mud that is not helping you, that's in your system around these areas. So people generally feel super relaxed after that one. Last one we do at the advanced integration is called the surprise or the mystery balance. It's an additional balance. Just like when we learn segregation, it really kind of expands our ability to influence the world with PSYCH-K. Just like the segregation really blows apart the potential, so does this additional balance, surprise / mystery. And you'll see why, and you'll know why when we do it, because you'll just go, what? Did you just really show us that? And it will really empower you in a way that you never expect. The additional balance, that's all I can say. So that's it. You're going to meet some great people, like-minded people that have already done the basics, so they're kind of already PSYCH-K'd up. You don't need to be proficient at muscle testing to come along, because you're going to get so much experience over the 4 days. You're going to be able to really brush up on your skills. And I'm going to kind of throw in a few extra little bits here and there, personal experience, some areas that really will be of assistance as well. And we get to hang out for 4 days as well, which is always fun doing this great work. So if that sounds interesting for you, we've got some great advanced workshops coming up. I'll put them in the email, or you can check them out on the website. But love to see you at one of them. Hope this has been interesting for you. Look forward to seeing you soon. Until next time, thanks for listening. See ya.